Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is lovely to have you all here. You all should have received a prayer book on your way in, a blue prayer book. But if you didn't, that's okay for the time being. We don't need them quite yet. We're actually going to just start with the words Shabbat Shalom. Can you try saying that after me? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Those are the only words you need in addition to Yai Lai Lai. Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai Lai, Yai Lai Lai, Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for joining us on this Shabbat. Welcome to all of you who are joining us here in person, and to those of you joining us via our live stream this evening. We welcome you as we welcome in Shabbat. Shabbat is taught, it is taught on Shabbat that is meant to be a time of joy. In fact, Rabbi Nachman of Braslav taught, be careful to feel only joy on Shabbat. There's nothing to compare with the greatness and holiness of Shabbat. The key to honoring Shabbat is joy. So even though it may sometimes feel challenging to feel joy all the time, on Shabbat we ask ourselves what we can do to take a deep breath, to relax, and hopefully, maybe, invite in an opportunity to feel joy. And tonight, we especially have a lot of young people in the room with us, which is amazing. And I think sometimes our young people feel joy in a way that maybe we as adults struggle with sometimes. So for our young ones in the room, if you need something to do during services besides singing along with us, there's some special toys in the back and some plush Torahs if you would like to get something from that box in the back and play with it during services. So we will begin by lighting our Shabbat candles, by adding some light to this dark night.
On page 2 of your prayer books, if you'd like to turn to page 2, you can join me in singing our Shabbat candle blessings. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We turn to page 10. Words that come from the book of Psalms. Hine matov, how good it is to be together with friends.
Hine matov, manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is. How sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine matov, manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
On page 13, sing unto God a new song.
Shiru l'Adonai kol chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash.
On page 20, the words of L'chadodi, we're taught that we welcome in on Shabbat. We imagine that we're welcoming in a Sabbath bride or a Sabbath queen. And you'll notice on page 21 in verse 5, it says, awake, awake. And the text invites us to awake ourselves or awaken ourselves to the joy that we hopefully find on this Shabbat. Please join with us.
We'll use the refrain and verse 1 on the top of page 20, as well as verses 5 and 9 on page 21. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orechu miori, uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai aleich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tzohula, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela.
The opening part of our service is called Kabbalat Shabbat, the receiving of Shabbat. And now we move into the central or the core parts of our service with the words of Baruch Hu. The Baruch Hu is a call and response. It's as if we're saying, are you ready to pray? And you're going to respond, yes, we're ready to pray. So I'm going to invite you to rise. Turn to page 28 as we offer these words of praise.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We will turn to page 34, words that come from our Torah, the declaration that God is one.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. We continue now with words that also come from our Torah, the words of Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha is our song of hope and redemption and freedom, where we celebrate where the Israelites journeyed out of Egypt into the Promised Land. Page 40, the words of Mi Chamocha.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora teilot oseh peleh. Nora teilot oseh peleh. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
I have a question for the kids in our room. Does anyone have a song that their parents sings them before they go to sleep at night? Does anyone have a song? Or maybe something that your parents do every night before you go to sleep, a bedtime routine or ritual? We also, as part of our service, have a routine or ritual that we say just at nighttime. It is considered a lullaby of our tradition. We'll turn to page 42. I invite you, if you would like to put your arm around your parents or your sibling or a friend, and we'll offer these words, this lullaby together.
Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. And let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu Eloheinu leshalom. Let there be love understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
I'll invite you to please rise as we join together on page 46 for the opening words of our standing prayer, the Amidah. We'll sing these words together, and then we will pause for a moment to think of our own blessings or things that we are thankful of from this week and as we head into this Shabbat.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha.
Take a moment now to think of your own blessings and things that you are thankful for. And when you are done with those thoughts, you may have a seat. We'll turn to page 62, a prayer for peace, Oseh Shalom.
Say shalom imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Part of what we do on Shabbat is we offer blessings to those who are in need of healing, whether someone is feeling sick or ill, physically or mentally or emotionally. We offer words of blessing. We'll turn to page 253. If there is someone that you're thinking of this evening who is in need of healing, you can say their name aloud. We'll join together in the words of Misha Berach, page 253.
Misha Berach source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikol habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, a renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So I have a story that I would like to share with you this evening. It's a story of two brothers. Who here has a sibling? So those of you here who have a sibling know that sometimes it can be challenging to share, and sometimes it can bring us great joy to share with others as well. So once upon a time, there were two brothers, and they inherited a field for farming from their family. The younger brother wasn't married. He didn't have any children. He lived alone on their property in his house. The other brother was married, had a family, had children, and they lived on the other house on the property. And together, these two brothers shared the field that was given to them by their parents. And every year, they would work on the fields, and they would plow it, and they would prepare it for harvest. So one year, when their wheat was ready for harvest, the two brothers laid down to sleep at night, knowing the next day that they would harvest their fields together. So both brothers went to bed, but sometimes, have you ever had the feeling where you just can't fall asleep? Something's just bothering you? So they were both having that feeling. One of them woke up, the brother who lived alone in his home, and he thought to himself, is it really fair that I'm going to harvest this field and take half of the harvest when my brother, he lives in the house across the street, across the way with his entire family? They have 5 people. I'm just one person. I should give some of my harvest to my brother. The other brother was also feeling similarly challenged in going to sleep that night. He thought, is it really fair that my poor brother lives alone in this house, all alone, while I am so blessed with my family and my children? I should give my brother more of my part of the harvest. So the next day they went out into their field and they harvested their grain, and they each brought it to the separate storage containers on their property. That night, each of the brothers decided that they would bring a portion of their harvest to the other brother's home, the other brother's storage shed, to share their harvest with their brother. So when it got dark, each brother went out to their storage shed and carried their big bales of sheaves, I guess is the proper word, of wheat across the field in the darkness to the other brother's storage shed. And all night they went back and forth and back and forth. And every time they went into their respective storage sheds, they wondered why their sheaves of wheat hadn't declined at all. So, when the sun began to come up in the morning, the two brothers were each carrying their loads of wheat to the other's shed when they ran into each other. In the darkness of night, they hadn't seen that each of them were sharing their harvest with the other one. And in the morning, when they ran into each other and saw that they both were sharing their portion of the harvest, they were really surprised. The older brother, who had a family and who lived with his wonderful family in his home, said, "But I have so much. I live with my family." And the younger brother, who didn't have a family and who lived alone, said, "But you have so many people in your house that you need to feed. I wanted to share more of my harvest with you." So the two brothers dropped their sheaves of wheat. They hugged each other, and they cried, they wept with gratitude and happiness. That the two of them, on their own, decided that they each wanted to share what they had with the other. And according to our rabbis, from this story, that God saw this act of love, the act of sharing something with their brothers, and they blessed that piece of land as a special place. So on this Shabbat, I encourage you, I invite you to think about the ways that we can share our harvest, we can share the things that we have with other people in our family or even beyond. Shabbat Shalom. In honor of Veterans Day, I would like to offer a short blessing for those veterans, for those who have served this country, who have helped made our country a place that we celebrate the freedom to live, to practice our religion freely, and to each have the ability to learn and be in this room together. We say, Ribono Shel Olam, God of the universe, may those who have dedicated our lives to protecting this great country, who have used their strength and wisdom to safeguard the ideals of freedom and democracy, ask for your presence now. Lord, you are our rock and our redeemer. Thank you for blessing each and every day, for empowering our veterans to be a blessing unto these United States of America. And together we say, Amen. It's taught that on Shabbat, even when it's supposed to be a moment of great joy, we still feel moments of sorrow and maybe even moments of mourning and grief. Tonight, we turn our thoughts to those that we are remembering on this Shabbat. Lillian Lyons, Margaret Wright, R. Lynn Benson, Irene Weiss, Meyer Kaminsky, Adelia Fuhr, Esther Tannenbaum, Edward Reif, Joseph Swidler, Raymond Philip Prospery, Cynthia Ross, Helen Kessel, Alvin Sterling, Robert Gottlieb, Steve Solomon, Ira Gordon, Ada Goldstein, Shirley Schoenthal, Saul Gore, Father Donald Senior. Are there any other names that you would like to remember this evening? We turn now to the words of Kadisha Tome, Mourner's Kaddish, on page 294. You may rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Balma divarach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Bagala ubizman kariv vimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitarmam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiram be'alma vimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
I'd like to invite our kids forward who would like to join us up front for Kiddush and Motzi, saying the blessing over the grape juice and the challah. So I'd like to invite you to come up if you would like, as we offer these words of blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
I'd like to offer you words of blessing that come from our Torah. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikunecha. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Very briefly, before we sing our final Yai Lai Lais together, I just want to remind everybody, not only do we have family school at 10 a.m. this Sunday, back here in this room, but at 10:30, in person only, will be our third candidate for senior rabbi town hall meeting with the congregation. So at 10:30 in this room, in person only. So for those of you joining on stream tonight, that will not be available to you on Sunday morning. 10:30 in person only in this room for a candidate visit for senior rabbi. And as our young people get first dibs of challah, why don't we Shabbat Shalom and Yai Lai Lai them out together? Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yai Lai 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 Lai. 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 I forgot an announcement. Thank you, Rabbi Carly. Sunday evening at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Also here in this room. That will be live streamed if you would like to watch that from whatever device you prefer. We have our guest scholar for the year, David Franklin, will be joining us speaking about constitutional law. Again, that is in this room, in person, as well as on Facebook and YouTube, just as you're watching this service now. And now I think I've covered it all. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Nice to see you.
Shabbat Shalom.